What's going on, everyone? So JJ and the rest of the Lakers are getting closer and closer to training camp, and there's a lot of excitement and just kind of build up for what JJ is going to be able to do with this Lakers roster. A lot of talks about Austin Reeves, Max Christie, Rui Hachimura, and various other guys really kind of taking a next step. I'm not saying that all these guys are going to be superstars now or anything, but no, like that they'll be slotted better. They'll actually be utilized properly in various actions, various sets. The offense in which JJ wants to run will be better suited for this roster, for this team. More of motions, more actual play calling, right? JJ's talked about it pretty much all offseason, that like Lakers were at their best when they were actually running plays. When it wasn't just LeBron dribbling the basketball for 20 seconds and then kicking it out to somebody or shooting a shot himself, right? When it was actually structured, the ball was moving, all that stuff. And look, I talked about it all season long myself, right? Talked about every time the Lakers got 30 plus assists, they didn't lose. Right? When the ball was moving and it wasn't sticking, the offensive production was fantastic. Teams could not stop them, and we won. It was simple, right? The data was there. But Darvin Ham, just the lack of preparation, the lack of, proper utilization and timeouts and play calling and all this stuff, you solved that all season long, and it really came to bite us in the behind, right? Where JJ Redick is expected to kind of come in and kind of clean up a lot of that stuff, and particularly with his offense. Obviously, there's concerns, there's questions with JJ Redick because he's a first-year head coach. I'm not really worried about the coaching side of things, though, right? He's manic when it comes to just preparation and just, again, he's got to the league. He is one of the greatest shooters ever, right? I mean, the guy was just, constant, right? Like, he's going to you've seen it with his podcast and you've seen it with his broadcasting, all of that stuff. All the, times he'd go to ESPN and have to debate and stuff, and he came with receipts. I mean, the dude was, as prepared as it gets, right? So I'm not really worried about the X's and O's thing. It's just like everything else that goes into head coaching, right? A lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. But that's why you got the great coaching staff that you have, which the Lakers have an A1 coaching staff, in my opinion. I love this coaching staff. I mean, and I've said this before. Take JJ Redick off the roster right now, or off the coaching staff, right? Take JJ off. Just look at the rest of the coaches, right? Nate McMillan, Scott Brooks, Lindsey Harding, right? Like, go down the list, look at the rest of the coaching staff. And then look at Darvin Ham plus his coaching staff and tell me that the Lakers coaching staff isn't better, right? So, again, you add JJ Redick and you add his basketball mind and his understanding of the game, right? And I've talked about, LeBron James and how much he respects JJ Redick's basketball mind. They did a podcast called Mind the Game where the entire podcast was about breaking down the game of basketball to a simplistic point for a general audience to understand. LeBron James is considered one of, if not the greatest basketball minds ever. And he could have done a podcast like that with anybody. I mean, Rondo, you name anybody. And he chose to do it with JJ Redick, right? And he respected JJ Redick, and he listened to his opinions, and he deferred to JJ at times to draw up plays and break things down, right? Will it be a collective? I'm sure. Will LeBron have an input? Of course, like it's LeBron. But I do have belief in JJ Redick, and I do think in particular his offense is going to be a very big thing. I think the 5-out version that he's going to run, not quite a 5-out, but it's a variation, and JJ even recently dove into and kind of described it. So I'm going to read what he said so that way you can kind of get a point of it, and then we'll talk about it and break it down. But he said, I think it's a little more nuanced than just saying it's a 5-out and every team is different, Redick said. Again, in the NBA, you want to maximize spacing. That's what it comes down to. So for the Denver Nuggets, they want to score in the paint, so when they go 5-out, it's to get to the paint. And what they rely on is, let's say the ball goes here, now Jokic has it here, we're just going to cut. This could be a pin down, this could be a rip screen, that's Aaron Gordon going to the basket. I think when people say, oh, everybody's just spaced 5 out, and people think it's like the guy's going to his bag every single time and jacking a three. That's not what it is. 5-out is just a way to maximize spacing so that whatever your particular team likes to do and wants to do and can do, well, you can run different actions out of 5 outs. So he's explaining that, people look at the 5-out as simply just all 5 guys, 5 are out, guys are just jacking up threes. It's just, raining 3-pointers. And he's explaining that's not what it is, right? Like as you see with Denver and their 5-out. A lot of times it's to get a bucket in the paint. It's to spread out the defense so you can run various actions, various motions, things like that, right? He's talking about how he wants to run these different sets, these different versions based on what they want to do against the team that they are playing, right? I'm sure every, various games will require various change-ups, right? So we're going to do this, we're going to set these plays up for this team, right? Because some teams, defend the interior better. Some teams defend the perimeter better. Some teams, are, have a weak spot at this, right? Like JJ Redick wants to break all that stuff down. JJ Redick wants to go over all of those key points and really kind of make it a point of emphasis that like, hey, it's not as straightforward and simple as just like 5 wide, everyone's just out on the perimeter and we're just going to shoot a bunch of threes. No, Lakers are at their best scoring in the paint and dominating the paint. They won the 2020 NBA championship that way. Yes, they had Danny Green, they had KCP, they had Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma. They had all these guys that could shoot, even Avery Bradley, guys like that, right? They had all these shooters, these 3-and-D guys, right? And the Lakers were still like 26th in the league in 3-point attempts and percentage. Why? Because they are at their best when LeBron and Anthony Davis are just dominating inside, right? And everything's going inside out. What JJ's saying is he wants to run a similar actions that are actual plays and sets similar to, like, remember the 5-out that we played, not last season, but the previous season, that everyone wanted Darvin Ham to go back to, but he, refused to go back to that. And then by the time he decided, okay, it was, already too late, right? Similar to that, but that would just be a variation, right? That would just be one example compared to, hey, we're going to run all of our sets and actions. 5 wide is just to basically, again, spread the defense out. It's to create spacing. It's to help you out. There's multiple ways to create spacing, but it's just easiest to, if everybody's wide and now you have all this cross actions and you have all this constant movement and you're keeping the defense on their toes and the ball is moving. We saw it with the Lakers, even in the 1-and-4 out, right? Lakers, again, sharing the basketball, moving the basketball leads to success. And that's the kind of thing that JJ Redick is talking about. He wants to really maximize this team. He really wants to maximize what this team is capable of doing, particularly on the offensive side, right? Defensive things we're really going to have to see, right? Because, we don't have this just deep team of 3-and-D guys. It's really just great offensive players or great defensive players, but you don't have the two really married, right? Your hope is that Max Christie can be one of those guys. Maybe a Rui can lock down better defensively, but chances are or Jared Vanderbilt just magically develops a 3-point shot. Maybe Gabe Vincent can get to 38% from 3, so at least you have, a point guard and a 2 that can kind of be your point of attack and defense. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But JJ really has talked numerous times about just the offense. And obviously he's not going to give every little detail on what he wants to do and how he wants to approach it and how he's going to go about it, because you don't want to spill all the beans right out the gate, right? You want to be able to catch teams by surprise. No, I mean, nowadays everyone kind of knows what you want to do. You have a generalized idea, right? Maybe, instead of running it here, you run it here, but it's still the same play, right? It's still the same result you're trying to look for. But overall, I am very excited to see, just in general, how this plays out, and JJ Redick and the advancements and way that he can kind of, just the way he looks at the game, the way that he approaches the game, the way that he's going to go about his X's and O's and all that stuff. I'm really excited to see his just evolution as a coach and overall impact right, this season. I think that you're going to see a lot of just excellent improvement, personally. I really do. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that, like JJ is going to do a number? You excited to see us kind of get back to that 5 wide, kind of just running real sets, real actions? Like, it's not just, again, somebody dominating the basketball. It's, hey, we're playing within the scope of the team. We're playing within what we're trying to do here, right? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.